As we await the official Supreme Court decision on abortion rights, red states across the country are continuing to pass restrictive abortion measures with the idea that they can be challenged up to the high court or that they can just be outright allowed to stand if and when Roe v. Wade is overturned. The latest such example comes from Louisiana with a bill that they have passed. Governor John Bel Edwards, who is a Democrat, mind you, but a so-called pro-life Democrat, he has signed into law Senate Bill 342, which is a trigger law that will do away with abortion in almost all circumstances. It does carve out exceptions for medical futility and ectopic pregnancies, but it does not carve out exceptions for rape and incest. There's also a penalty in there for abortion providers with sentences ranging anywhere from 10 to 15 years in prison. Luckily, there is no criminal penalty for women who seek and get abortions in the state, as has been the trend in many of these bills in red states across the country lately. The governor said that he wishes that there was an exception for rape and incest, but he decided to sign the bill into law anyway. He explained this in a statement saying, quote, "I am pro-life and have never hidden from that fact. This does not belie my belief that there should be an exception to the prohibition on abortion for victims of rape and incest. However, vetoing Senate Bill 342 would not accomplish that end. In fact, vetoing Senate Bill 342 would leave fewer exceptions in place than if the bill becomes law and would further confuse whether pregnancy begins at fertilization or implantation. For these reasons, I have signed Senate Bill 342 into law." Now, I thought that this story offered an opportunity to talk about some of the leaps in logic when it comes to the right-wing view on abortion, particularly when it comes to not prosecuting women who have abortions and also when it comes to carving out exceptions for rape and incest. So starting with the first one, most Republicans at this point don't want to see women prosecuted who have abortions. They may want to prosecute the medical providers, but not the women themselves. And to me, that doesn't really make sense given their logic, right? Because if you buy into this idea that abortion is murder, well, shouldn't you hold accountable not only the person who's actually doing the murder, but also the person who called the hit? Like, if in this current society as things are, not only does a hitman get in trouble and get prosecuted if they kill someone, also the person that ordered the hit gets in trouble as well. So why wouldn't the same be true for a case having to do with an abortion? Also, the leap in logic when it comes to Republicans on this issue has to do with the rape and incest thing, because they argue that life begins at conception, all life is sacred, God has a plan for everyone. Why would that not apply to a woman who gets raped? Now, certainly I don't think she should have to carry a baby to term and have that be a constant reminder of the tragic event that happened to her. But many of these Republicans think that there should be these exceptions carved out, and to me, it doesn't really seem to make sense if the whole reason that they're against abortion is because they believe that life begins at conception and they believe that it's murder to kill a baby in the womb. So given their logic on these different things, to me, it just doesn't make all that much sense. And sadly, no longer are these conversations hypothetical merely, because now we're starting to see abortion get banned in states across the country. Certainly that's going to be the case if Roe versus Wade is indeed overturned. These trigger laws are going to get enacted like this one in Louisiana, and we're going to have these conversations, and to my understanding, Republicans simply aren't ready to have them. So that's the latest on one of these abortion bills that are being passed in a red state, and I'm sure there are more to come.